Well, hello. This is my very first test going live. So I'm going to pull something up on the screen here. Testing out the ability to go live using Prism Live Studio here for my streaming service. And I've got somebody here. It looks like Robbie Wartberg is here. Appreciate people stopping by. See if anybody else joins. It seemed like it was pretty easy for me to figure out. Going live stuff may save me from having to record videos and then waiting for them to upload overnight and so on. Get together and talk some baseball. I had no idea what I'm going to do in here. This was just kind of testing out this software while I had a chance to do it. And I've got it up and running. Doing well, Robbie, doing well. Um, I've been inspired watching all the other people that are doing streaming, right? Beatles Eternally. I'm tuning into his dead ball stuff he's doing today. He did a game with Baseball for Windows. Al Red Sox fan. See, Dave Gardner got his site. Ron Juckett. I mean, those are the ones I've been going to here recently. Chris Slovik's got some fun stuff out there where he's doing some replays with basketball, football, and baseball using different games, which is kind of interesting. So you get to see that. So got me excited to want to do some of this stuff. Yeah, hopefully Beatles does make it in because he's been a big inspiration for me doing some of this stuff. And I thought, well, hey, maybe I will run through. I know when I posted my last video, I'd said I'd never mess with the playoff bracket. So I went into my file here and actually created a playoff bracket. And now I've got this box option up here, which isn't allowing me to click on that. So I just grabbed it to see how easy it was. And I have to say, it was pretty darn easy. I just started seeding some teams in here. And then I went in here and just started hitting autoplay and set up a best of 7. And it was carrying people right on to the next round. So I thought, wow, another easy feature in Action PC that's been there for probably several years that I've never messed with. So the cool thing about putting the videos up is that I've had some people comment on the videos or reach out to me and ping me. And I've learned each video I've put up where I'm trying to maybe help somebody else learn how to navigate the game. I'm learning stuff on the game because by no means am I an expert for any of this stuff. So I got Robbie. I got an audience of 1 here. So let's see here what I might do. Maybe I'll fire up one of these games here. Maybe I'll auto play some of this and see how easy this was. But who's going to advance here between Detroit 1913 to 17 and Boston 46 to 50? So I can hit auto. Each time I hit this game, it brings up the schedule for them. And I can see Boston's ahead 2-1. Auto play it again. Now Detroit wins, and it shows you the score of each of these games. Auto. Let's see who advances. And Detroit advances. So, man. Oh, good. I got Wayne in here. Thanks for coming, Wayne. Yeah, I mean, I was amazed how easy it was. I'm using Prism Live Studio, which, I've never done any streaming stuff before. I've used that to make the videos that I've posted. I've done like 3 videos. But this is kind of linked up with the YouTube account, and then I could go into YouTube Studio and hit a couple buttons, and I figured it out. Look, I'm not that technical when it comes to this stuff. I figured it out pretty easy. So nice. And I know Robbie's playing a lot of Diamond Mine. I've got version 12 now, and what I did is I'm trying to think that we have how many seasons. I had quite a few old DMB seasons. I found a disc I had, so I'm going to have to get with Beatles and try to maybe figure out how to get those converted or do whatever. But I thought, hey, I got a little extra money to spend. I'm going to grab that diamond mine because that was my go-to game before I moved on to action at one point. I loved it. Let's see here. So let's see what we do if we play one of these games. I got a Boston at Detroit here. That might be a fun one to play. So what happens if I hit play? Fires up my options so I can play that game. So let's try this one out. Sometimes I like to set up the human, keep it human to human until I get the lineups the way I think would be a little bit more realistic, and then flip it back over to computer. Hey, we've got Beatles here. Finally, he's in. I was just telling Robbie and Wayne that are here how easy it was to get it linked up and working. So the other thing I told him is I had never messed with the playoff tree, so I set one up the other night and was messing with it, see how easy it was. So I thought I'd just fire up a game here real quick. Human, human, human. Now it's flipping over to my big screen over here. So let me do this. I'm making a rookie mistake here. I've got this on the other screen. You guys can't see it, so.
Pitching for Detroit 68-72, number 29, Mickey, Lola. Leading off for Boston 75-79, shortstop, number 7, Rick.
I was messing with the narrator. I got inspired listening to Beatles do the broadcast blast earlier today, and I came in and fired up the game a while ago and was messing with the narrator. So I still haven't played with that completely to get that all figured out. But one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel this game out because I'm realizing that I need to make this one my main display. I don't know how this is going to do with the stream. I think we're still going to be good on the stream here. But now, this should work better. Let's take a look here. Awesome. Yeah, I'm reading the comments here. I'd love to upgrade some of those version 7 seasons all the way up there. That would be great. But now I've got this on my main screen, so I can grab this game. Let's play it. See what we got here. Let's see what the computer suggests. So we'll go with Louis T on here. It's telling me everybody's over the roster limit here. That's fine. Got my Tigers here. See how to set these guys up. I'm liking Gates Brown as a DH. Although we need Mickey Stanley in center field, I think. I think we put Stanley in center field and move Northrup over to do some DH. No, he's pretty good in left field. Let's do that. Put Northrup in left. We'll get Horton in there. Let's put Horton in the DH spot. I kind of like this road. Let me move my lineup around. Let's see what we've got here with the computer suggestion for those Red Sox. I don't know if we got any Red Sox fan on here, but let's see. Al's commenting on here that he's hopefully will catch it later. Yeah, Rodriguez was too high. I agree with that, 100%. The wrong color socks, and we need those pale hose for some people here. So yeah, we'll just ride with what the computer wants to do right here. So, yeah, we know we're over the roster limit. See how my screen looks on this. This is the ballpark I like to use for Detroit, but when you use this full screen, it covers the plate. So a lot of times I'll go to 3/4 screen on this one. And that way, I mean, I just like 3/4 for this look right here. And then the players, I always struggle with how big to make these player photos. I don't like them like a big one box running around, but let's see here. We can make them much larger. That's not too bad. I think we'll go with this. So now I'm going to throw these guys back on computer manage and play some innings and see what's going on here. Lolich fired it off. Rodriguez, a good third baseman, fires it over. Hey, we got one out. Jerry Remy, I remember this era very well. Stanley plays a good center field. He's an 8 out in center field. Fred Lynn at the plate. This is a tough lineup. I mean, you got Lynn, Rice, Fisk, Evans, Yastrzemski batting 7th. I mean, if you got Yastrzemski and then Cecil Cooper batting 7 and 8, you know you got a pretty good team out there. Oh, nice. And let me know if something's not streaming right, but to me it appears like everything's working pretty good on the screen from what I can see over here anyway. I don't know if the sound's coming through. I have the sounds tamping down so they shouldn't be too overpowering, but you should still be able to hear them. Fly ball to the left. Rice has got it. Mickey Stanley up. Yaz playing first base today. Gold Glove left fielder, right? But he's over at first base. Yeah, Rice being healthy for the 75 series could have changed a whole lot, right? Big time. Let me shut my door here and get to kind of dog-proof my setup a little bit right here. Nice. Got Al Kaline coming to the plate, popping it up. Butch Hobson, not the guy you want in late innings with that 3 defensive range at third, but hey, he's got a lot of power in the bat. We got Jim Rice to the plate now. Fly ball out to left. Northrup's got it. See how the Tigers can play at home in this opening game. Base hit for Fisk. So we got a runner on for Dwight Evans. Ball. So we've got a walk. 2 runners on. Little threat here for Mickey Lolich. Lefty on lefty matchup. Got a high fly ball out to right field. Looks like Kaline's got it. Gets the ball in. So maybe Lolich can get out of this inning without any damage. It's like a ground ball to McCullough. He's got an easy out to cash it first. So no runs and hits for the Tigers. Norm Cash leads it off with the single. Now I get my coaching decision box. Try for a double with Cash. And I've got the setting on here where I think if it's greater than 30%, it'll offer this option up to you. You can have the computer handle this. And 86%, why not? Let's see. Good, he makes it. So we got a double. No outs. Willie Horton up. Looks like a base hit. Is it enough? Ooh, not even a decision. Cash wasn't even thinking about it. Bill Freehan, great defensive catcher, and not a bad batter for the time. Ground ball, yep, 80%. We're going to send the runner home. See if they can turn 2. They turn 2, and we get a run. Jim Northrup up. It's like a single up the middle. Nice. Beatles are saying everything looks good. Like to hear that. Interesting. So what I'm going to do here, I get bored easily, right? Going through this, I'm going to zoom this because I love being able to zoom when you're playing a game. And this is great too if you're doing a season, right? And you want to manage some of the games or, you know, maybe at certain points. I love the options to be able to zoom to certain things within a game. You know, if the score gets closer, somebody comes on base, but just picking the end of an inning, right? Or when somebody else comes to bat. So let's go to the seventh inning and see what's going on. See if it's a tight game. Zoom's complete. So now, hey, oh, we still got a 1-0 game here, and now we're in the through 7 innings. So let's see what can happen. We got the Rooster Burleson up here. Got a hell of a pitcher's duel going on with Tiant and Loach. Jerry Remy up. Uh-oh, we've got the computer manager bringing in a righty, Steve Dillard to bat. Looks like it's a decent move here. Lolich only thrown 81 pitches here, and we're in the top of the 8th inning, so knowing him, he could probably throw 300 in a game if he needed to. Kaline makes the out. Lefty on lefty. Lynn looks like a dribbler to Rodriguez. Fires it over, and we just get him. So, bottom of the 8th. Steady Eddie Brinkman. Not much of a bat. I think when Beatles played a game, when he and I were playing a game on his live stream, I was making fun of him having a fly swatter instead of a bat, and I think he got 3 hits or something crazy like that. So, oh man, caught it. All right, Tiant. Let's see if he can give his team a chance to get the bats going. Looks like he might. Lynn's going to track this one down. It looks like. Oh no. Oh, missed that call. Looks like an insurance run from Mickey Stanley. Al Kaline up. Oh, we got a base hit. Tiant had called. Somebody just said Tiant calm down, and now Wayne said that we've got a little bit of trouble. So, see what we've got here. Tiant's hoping to get out of this. Oh, an intentional walk. We're going to go for the righty. Willie Horton's feeling disrespected. And he makes them pay. Extra bases. It didn't work out so well. So now we've got, he cleared that extra run that they walked on home. So now we've got a 4-0 lead. Freehand lines it right out to Dwight Evans. So last chance hope. What do we got? We got the heart of the lineup coming up. We got Rice and Fisk and Evans. Lolich, still a low pitch count. It's been pretty efficient today. 91 pitches. Here we're in the 9th inning. Fisk out to Stanley. We got 2 away. It's up to Dwight Evans to keep this thing alive. It ain't going to happen today. Let's take a look at what happened. Again, I like, now that I'm running my main screen being my 27-inch, the resolution's great, so I'm not getting anything cut off. So we're seeing like the pictures with the stats normally under them and all that good stuff. But it's a heck of a pitcher's game up until Tiant kind of lost his bearing there at the end. Player of the game, yeah, Mickey Stanley looked like he 1 for 3 with that home run. Yeah, you look at that 2-hitter, really. I mean, shouldn't Lolich be the player of the game? I'm probably thinking so with a full game shutout here. Gave up 2 hits. Fisk got them both. That's a pitching gem. And I'm looking at Lolich, and he didn't have any extra stuff, right? Just had his normal stuff going on. But he pitched a heck of a game. Game MVP Mickey Lolich. Not a lot of offensive action here when we look at the recap. Again, I love this feature with action. I mean, to me, this is great if you're doing like a write-up, if you had a league going or something like that, and you wanted to like run some games and do some write-ups. This is a great screen to have. So kind of fun. One thing I've noticed, if anybody has downloaded my files, I'm playing with a recent one right here. I don't know how many teams I've got on here now. I'm over 80. So a little history here. Dave and Action, they have always had a limit for a baseball file of 80 teams. That's their limit. So this edition, 2022, which I'm playing with, they expanded to 120. So a couple of little things that I've been able to find out because I've pushed the envelope on that. So when we got over 80 teams on the 2022 version here, some people had reported to me on the action forum that they couldn't run an exhibition game. It was a weird situation. So if I go in here, I can just play that the playoff games or a scheduled game. If I hit exhibition, boom, I get a runtime error. And it's because for some reason something's throwing it off. Well, Action has already fixed this bug. I haven't got it yet, but one of the guys that was doing some testing for me, they've already diagnosed it and fixed it. So it'll be out like in a future update. So the way to get around it is you just can't play exhibition games. So let me fire the game back up, right? We always hate seeing those errors. But what you can do is go and set up a playoff tree or schedule a game. Um, Not a problem. Or I could create a blank league and just drag a bunch of teams I wanted to play into that, and it's fine. There's something to do with the recent move from 80 to 120 that's caused a few bugs. I found a bug also when I created some teams, because when I create teams, get all the data in, I go over here to generate default player ratings, and these are the ones that I generate. I let the game determine based on the stats what these are, this one, and that one. These others that are blank, I do all the data and crunch those for these files, for the 5-year files. I do the fielding range, outfield arms, double play pivot, catcher arm, and the hold rating. The reason I don't do the rest is I could get in there and tweak that if I didn't like it, but this is a nice way to generate the ratings for the entire league at once. But when I would generate them, it would not apply them for teams that were in the new slots. Because if you look here in the old game, I think there was only so many slots, maybe 4 of a certain amount. We have these new slots. So if there was a team sitting where these 50 to 59 people are, you'd go to click on this team and you'd go up and look, edit their general stuff, and you would see that they did not have any bunt sack information. So Al Red Sox fan got on. I was watching him play the Texas Rangers and who was it, the Orioles, and I noticed he had a bunt situation and the guy's a 0, and I'm thinking that guy should have a bunt rating. It's not like it's David Ortiz at the plate. I mean, there should be a number there. Then I went back and looked at the file and realized, oh, when I started moving them into 2022, there was an issue right away. When I got a hold of Action, they were able to solve it, fix it, and that came out. They fixed that in the last update on November 11th. So I anticipate probably in the next week or so they'll probably have another update on their site that is only affecting me in this file because I've got, of course, if you imported your own file and brought more than 80 teams on it and then tried to play an exhibition, it would impact you as well. But I don't know how many people are doing crazy things like that. And Wayne's right. It's almost time for that. Oh, Arnold's here. Great. Thanks, Arnold. I'm just talking gibberish today, Arnold. No real method to this. I was just trying to make sure my live stream worked. I've never gone live, and it was easier than I thought, actually. So we're just here killing time and talking baseball sim stuff or anything you guys want to talk about or see. Let me know. I agree with Robbie. The Rangers do deserve a second chance. The other thing I sent Al updated files so that he can start that tournament over because you can't have teams coming up with a 0 bunt rating and in key situations. So just couple little things I've noticed switching over here, but I have added. I think this one has the current teams. Which ones did I add? I've added recently. If you haven't downloaded them, I made them available at the Action PC forums, and then today I emailed the Action community site to put the most updated files I have right now, which are like a little over 80 teams, I think, for the AL and NL. So the one if you got them from that site that's probably a month old, they're going to have the newest ones now. And what have I got on here? Oh, this is the new one of the newest teams I put on here on request. So on the action forums, I'd ask people, hey, you got any requests? What teams you want or ideas? And somebody actually wanted this 71 to 75 Sox team. I mean, they knew the team. We pulled it up here. I remember this team. I'm looking at it like and they were 80 and 80, right? So that they were a 500 team. Um, hey, when you're talking about Dave, oh yeah, let me tell you what I did the other day. It was a while back, and I missed a sale. I don't know if you saw that. Like, if you had the previous seasons, they updated a bunch of old ones with more split data and all that from the 20s and the 10s and the 40s and 30s and all that. And it was like a year ago. And I reached out to him recently, and I had bought a bunch of stuff. And then I said, hey, I think I missed this sale. Are these updates still available? Or can I get in on the sale? And he sent me all the files. Just sent them to me. Because I've owned them for years or whatever. I've had almost every season actions made, but yeah, anytime I ever get a hold of them, it's usually same day or next morning or whatever. They're upgrading it because I've gone in and imported teams around and done weird stuff and deleted teams off. Like I remember 1974. I'm in there one day and I'm like, hey, I'm missing a team. Where did the Dodgers go? I don't know what the heck I did. Well, I've corrupted files by importing and moving stuff around so much. And I just ping him and boom, he'd just say, hey, here you go. So he is great, man. But yeah, here's the team. We got, I mean, look at the game started for this White side. This is when I was looking at. I'm like, man, their pitching wasn't bad. Of course they're in a pitcher's park. Um, Jim Cat, look at this. I mean, you got four guys here, 39, 40, 41, and 45 starts on their 2-year averages right here. Um, I don't remember Tom Bradley, funny enough, but I do remember Gossage and Bucky Dent when they were rookies coming in with the White Sox and that. But I didn't follow baseball till probably, well, I was huge into baseball. We played in the yard and everything as a kid growing up. But I mean, it was probably the 72 season is the first season where I can remember um, the Tigers making the playoffs and losing to the dang A's. It was a great playoff series. The whole bat with Campaneris and that's when I became a Reds fan because I was so mad that my Tigers didn't get in the World Series that when the Reds played the A's, which is a very underrated series, I think what 5 of the 6 games were one-run games. I mean, you go back and look at those on YouTube and watch the games; those were some close games. Reggie was hurting out, of course, but that's when I became a Reds fan because I was pulling for the Reds to beat the A's. And then a little bit later in the 70s, as I got a little bit older, I started to appreciate just what the A's team did by making those 3 World Series wins was um, incredible. But all right, so yeah, Wilbur Wood. Look at this stuff. 355 innings pitched. I mean, that's even more than Mickey Lolich. I mean, Lolich had a bunch back in the early 70s. I like this. Beatles got into baseball in 1906. Yeah, he wishes he was born in 1906, watching the Cubs play firsthand, probably. But yeah, I mean, what got me into that was baseball cards. I mean, love baseball, love watching it, but the cards and the stats on the back and all that stuff, man, I loved it. I just was infatuated with that stuff throughout the year. And then that went on into basketball, and football and then hockey later. But I was a huge Detroit sports fan growing up there. Still am. They're still my teams I root for in that, but a lot of fun memories there. And I had somebody last night, it was Al, Red Sox fan, talking about him being a big Fidrich fan. And I thought, you know what? I don't know what their 5-year record is, but I ought to do a 5-year slice that includes those years because those are some fun years with Fidrich and Ron LaFleur and Rusty used to call him Stumbling Staub when he fell down in the damn All-Star game that year. That'd be kind of a fun team. I mean, they had some fun players and unique stuff. Not the best. win-loss record, but that might be a fun team to put together and have available here. And I see everybody chatting up how good um, Stratomatic's customer service. I'm sorry, got that wrong. Actions customer service is for sure. But yeah, that's a new team that I've got on here in the last week or so. I haven't added too many teams in the last few days, but last weekend I got those done. Trying to think what other team got in here that might be new. Um, oh, Boston 2015 to 19 somebody wanted, so I kind of pushed that up on my list and got that done. Yeah, Mookie Betts is a heck of a, I'm doing research on like, I'm pretty conservative when I'm handing out tens. So the one thing where I'll differ with Action a lot is Action will give a player a 10 if um, they won the Gold Glove, right? I get that. That's cool, right? But I don't subscribe to that theory all the time. So I'll go to Fangraphs. I'll start looking at their ratings, their zone ratings, and all that. And if the numbers are up there and kind of in the close range, I'm like, yeah, okay, I can go with the 10. Sometimes I'll bump them to a 9. Sometimes I'll bring them even down because you'll find people in history where they got Gold Gloves um, more for other things like their arm, um, kind of the silver slugger thing where, hey, Winfield's a lot like that. If you really look at the numbers, Winfield didn't have as great a range as people think, but they always want him to be. He had a strong arm out there and he wasn't bad and he was a great batter. So, you know, sometimes people would be like, oh, he's a 9 or 10 out there in right field. Not so much on range. Yeah, on arm. Dave Parker's another one. So just because Action or the records show that they won a Gold Glove that year, I don't automatically give them a 10 for my files. I just I'm like, hey, there's got to have some numbers to back it up. Now Mookie Betts, yeah, he's got the zone rating numbers that actually back that up. And Clemente's got numbers to back that up. We have Clemente fans on here. Oh yeah, Pittsburgh guys. Yeah, exactly. Wayne, it's a good thing too, Wayne. I mean, he wasn't bad out there, but the other thing that's funny when you look at ranges, you'll see um, it's I think people confuse it the whole package, right? Like, oh, I had a great fielding percentage, he was a Gold Glover, but the game really wants you to use range, their ability to get to the ball, right? And then once they get it, then it'll determine whether their fielding percentage comes in. So yeah, they're very separate to me. And again, I spend a lot of time trying to be as detailed as I can on those. I probably spend too much time on that actually because I have a lot of sources I use. So when I enter all the data, get all the numbers crunched, then when I get over to the fielding numbers, I spend a lot of time coming up with what between 1 and 10 I'm going to assign them for that. I spend a lot of time on that. And then sometimes I've got conflicts from my different sources, and I'm like, what am I going to do? Well, I have to make a decision. Great site if there's anybody here that doesn't use it, which is Fangraphs. I love Fangraphs. And again, I just scratched the surface on it. But if I type in, just looking at Roberto Clemente over here right now, let's pop Fangraphs up here. Let's pull Roberto Clemente on here. We can go right to the fielding numbers if we want. So this is a great number to look at. Look at his runs above average total zone right here, which is a great rating for some of these older seasons before they started really breaking down, being able to track every position the ball was hit to like they do in modern times, right? But look at the numbers on here. I mean, these are large, always in the positive and some really big seasons here. Like, you can tell that, there's an average season in 63, but nothing that it's just outstanding. Um, let's look at Mookie. Mookie Bet. So after about 2002, when they go to fielding, they're going to view it a different way. This is the way they're using some of the old ratings here, total zone. But right now, you can get over here to like defensive run saved from the fielding Bible, which I love. And look at these numbers right here. I mean, so when I'm doing that and these are 30s, yeah, he's earned the 10. Let's put it that way. Now let's look at Dave Winfield here. Maybe he's better than I think. I'm just trying to go from memory here. Total zone on Winfield. So let's look at him here. And you'll see there, he's got some range here and doing this, but not a lot going on. I mean, this is not impressive at all. Early in his first few years, he's got some mobility out there, but this guy wasn't hoofing balls down left and right. He had a name, he had a lot of home runs, and he had a strong arm. He got a big boost because of that. So, Colavito. I could get lost in this stuff, right? But I do enjoy doing the research on these files. So I enjoy doing the research as much as playing them. I've just got to get to a point where Al Red Sox told me that he said, "Hey, you need to stop creating teams and start playing some of these teams." And I'm like, I enjoy watching some of the projects that people are doing with them. I know Ron Juckett over at Retro Sports is doing. He's grabbing like the same franchise. Like he took a current Red Sox team and played them against an older Red Sox team. And I think he's going to do some more with the 5 year baseball file. Al's going to do like a tournament. So it's kind of fun for me to watch that, see how people are using it. But you can see Colavito here, right? Early on, he's got a lot of this, got a lot higher numbers, a little low, right? And then you got to figure out, well, how much of this is arm versus how much of it is true range, right? So again, I use several sources, but look at how the games have. I will look at how Action has them rated, but I'm not giving the 10 to somebody just because they won the Gold Glove. But I will to the ones that I think the numbers back up that they earned it. How's that? Yastrzemski, though, you look over time, there's not as many really tens or really superstar left fielders. I think that's kind of unrepresented group as I look through a lot of the research on it. Where are those old Boston teams with? Yeah, but Yastrzemski, he was a complete package out playing left field there. It's pretty good. Got a 9 in arm. Just created on the NL disc another catcher that has the numbers, and we've got a lot more stuff you can track with current players. Flip over there because there's some players that Johnny Bench, great range, great arm. Pudge Rodriguez. The other guy is Molina, Yadier Molina. We'll see what I've got over here on the NL side of things. 222. Oh yeah, St. Louis. So this was a newly created team here in the last week or so. This 2011 to 15 Cardinals. When you start cycling, you can see Molina. He's a 10-10. This guy's got the numbers to back up an arm rating and a range rating like that. Just a great catcher. Yeah. So what's going on out there in baseball simland? What would you guys like to see? No, talk about anything. Guess we could fire up a quick sim of a couple of these teams just to fire up some quick sim to see what happens. Oh, wait a minute. I'm gonna hit my exhibition issue probably by doing that. Yep, those are only new teams I've got. I'm trying to think if there was another one I did. Dead ball. Some of these pre-dead ball people. When we were talking, Beatles has the dead ball league, and I think things are running smoother now that they've got it set to a different era. But I can tell you that, like on this team, who's a big hitter down here? It's Wee Willie Keeler, right? So I've got him assigned to 1899 right here, and he's got a big average. But sometimes if that average is high, that 370 would be great if the average was 250 for that year, right? But he might be hitting 370 when the batting average was 300. So the one thing about this game, and I think when people play, is making sure that when you're playing drafts and players from different eras, that you're looking at where the stats were coming from, where they were created, and then where you're bringing them to, right? Because it can really change so much. I read a great article on dead ball guys, pre 1900 guys. I was just thumbing through my phone, Beatles. I found a great um, article on Keeler. And I was just reading that about how his ability to hit, and they said that they changed the foul rules because of him, because he could sit there and just foul off pitches, and then they started making him count as strikes because of him. Yep, exactly. So good read if you guys haven't done that. Again, I had some people reach out when I posted some videos, like on the pictures and the different thing I'm doing. I like this little background here for it. Uh, I'm just loving now going in when I create these teams, and for my enjoyment, making sure I get an era specific logo down there. These are some uniforms that I had because some of the pack I have that have the hat and the logo that I downloaded from the community site that I love don't have some for a few of the teams. So I had to go find some other ones here for Brooklyn. But for the most part, they have this style. And I got them off the community download where it's like the hat. And I really like this. It's the hat and the uniform logo. I've been using those if they're available. Putting in the manager photo, trying to find it, the park um, photo that I like the best. Hey, got a couple of these. You can't beat Bob Uecker. See what Bob Uecker. Oh, look at that. Look at that batting line. 198. So he's a six. He got an average catcher with an average arm. So he wasn't too bad, defensively, but not going to get much wood on the ball with Bob Uecker for sure. Look at that. His OPS plus a 63. I mean, that's pretty low. Beatles, that's a yes. I got to tell you that I loved over time. Status Pro was my favorite card game I had as a kid. Right, I had that in 1977. I think I had Status Pro. Then I got Status Pro Basketball. Those two games I loved. Then the next year I got Pay Dirt for football, and then that became my go-to. And then a year after that, I don't know if it's Avalon Hill or somebody did a golf game where it was like the Masters. It had a little book and it had pictures of the hole. That was my first like golf card and dice game. So, but over the time, and then I got into um, Hafner in college. We had a Commodore 64, and we got into Hafner, all his games, the basketball, football, all of them, right? And then we had Micro League, and we had Pure Stat on Commodore 64. Like this is around 85, 86, 87, right? While I was still in college. We played all those games, loved them. And then a buddy of mine, about 89, trying to think, I got married 89. 89, he got the first Pursue the Pennant Diamond Mine like joint venture where it wasn't even a computer manager. It was like human controlled. And he bought that. And I'm like, man, this is awesome. And then I just kept getting Diamond Mine each year from 1990 on. And I didn't find action until probably right when it first started, 2002 or three, somewhere around there. And I think the first one I found was basketball. And I know football might have been his first game, but basketball is the one that I really fell in love with. And then I got baseball when it came out. So I've had almost every iteration of it. But I have to tell you, like for what I do, this thing's great. And there's things I would love, right? Like he added the narrator, and I would love it to sound better than it does, right? I would love to take what Beatles had today with Ernie Harwell's Broadcast Blast, have that type of broadcaster voice talking to me with the narrator in action. Be wonderful. The other thing is, I love Action's video chalkboard. But if you could take what out of the park baseball is doing right now with even those graphics and seeing little players run around, I'd love that. Al Red Sox fan was talking about the football game for Action. If they could we got the pictures and the symbols, but if they could just turn that into like a little player sprite or something moving around. Pro Strategy Football is a great game, and they use some of the basic player animation. So this is my favorite game by far. I always come back to this because I love how it plays, It keeps all my stuff. It's fully flexible. I can edit. I can do whatever I want. I can window dress it. I can track any stat imaginable. Um, it's just powerful. But then again, it's like you're never happy, right? It's like, okay, what else could this do? Oh my gosh, if they would only do. So this is my desert island. This is my one that where it would be. Now, before this came along in the old days, it would have been Diamond Mine, right? And then before that, it would have been Hafner. So, I've had different games that are my go-to over time, but right now, I don't know. Um, I'm not rolling cards and dice, right? If I was more into having that stuff set up on my desktop and actually having the cards out in front of me and stuff, that would probably open my eyes to some different games. But I did that when I was young, and now I'm like, this is great. I don't have to do any of that. It's all right here on my screen. I can grab my mouse and go to it. And what's funny is, let me go here. I found some of these old games. Let me see if I can find. I just had where were they here? My old, look at this. I got my DMB stuff here. My old sports games right here. Full count baseball. I found. Man, look at that. Hello. What happens if I click on hello? Oh, this can app run. Yeah, useless. I'm gonna have to get like a DOS box or something. Hello. But yeah, I found my Hafner. Um, Look at this. This was a Pennant Fever Baseball 3. I mean, I think they quit making that in 2013. So I don't know what happened to that. This is just stuff I had on an old drive. Pure Sim 2007. Some of the old games I had. Dombrov Baseball, who he used to be big on the action forums way back in the early 2000s, and then he kind of broke off and did his own version based on, I can't remember what the engine is. Sports Illustrated, maybe, like its own baseball engine. The other game I played as a kid, maybe someone will remember, it's the one with the dials. Was it All Star Baseball? My friend had where you had it was like a disc and you dialed it. That was pretty cool. That was a board game that we used to play a lot. We got Full Count. Look, I've even got, if anybody does any war games, one of the best ever. Civil War Generals 2. That's in my old games I brought over. So this is just some stuff I was looking at. Look, I got DMB 7. I've got some of my old things, my files and stuff here. And then look at this. Useless now, I guess. I'm going to have to get offline with Beatles to help me up. I've got all these things that I can't use now for DMB8, but I'm going to have to get back into it. Yeah, team management cumbersome. I haven't been into it in a while. I don't know what version he's up to now, but anyway, yeah, this is kind of my desert island go-to game. Um, it's fun. Oh, good. Yeah, he's telling me, hey, I got you covered on that. That's good to know for sure. Some of the things, I don't know if anybody's messed around with photos or whatever. I know everybody download these, but if anybody's watching, I use Snagit. I've got this program I think Mark Weiss got me into a long time ago where you can go in here and it's a Snagit photo editor and it's great. This is what I use to get in here and make my templates for like if I'm doing stuff for like here's my Dodgers, right? Like I'll come in here and make my card using a template right there. So I'll set up the teams. Like I have for every 5-year file, I have a corresponding. That's what takes me so long to get done with these projects. A corresponding place where I can look. Here's a 54 to 58 Yankees. No pictures in there yet. Um, 65 to 69 Twins. You can see I've got all the pictures here. I just haven't got the templates laid on them like I want. So for each of the teams, like if I go to the Twins, I'll have a place where I keep all of their logos that I'm going to use and drop in the game based on the era. And then I've got a Snagit template, like here's the Twins in the 60s. So I can pull up this and I can go in here and then start putting the name and doing all that good stuff. And then I'll just grab that and drop it over the pictures and crop them and make a template. And that's kind of how I do my custom photos for this. But it started off as a great idea when you just had a few teams. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I got to do this for what, 160 teams now? Are you kidding me? because I've created more teams than I can keep up with. And the same's true for my basketball files and that. So where's all that good stuff at here? Let me go to my Dodgers. So if I back out of here, I've got like here's basketball player photos, and then the basketball card style ones that I have. For all the teams I have for my basketball file, my 5 years, I got the same one. So here's the net, the old ABA nets, right? So I've got a couple options. Where's Dr. J with the good? Yeah, gotta love some Dr. J back in the day. So I've got several options here for him, like if you wanted to play the game and use different pictures in there and stuff. So I took the same format of like taking a baseball card style with the name and trying to get the colors right and then trying to find a logo. I've done that for this football. I did the same kind of thing. Football's different because they use a different format to show in the game. It's a little wider, so it's got a different format and there's more players on the team. So what a pain that is, right? There's a team I've done here, like the Steelers. Got the Steelers done right. So it's a little wider format. The game uses it a little bit more square, I guess, is the right way. But you got some few options. Yeah, somebody help Arnold out there because I'm always looking for that. Arnold photos of the old time ballparks. I've acquired them. There used to be a site called PC Ballparks. I downloaded everything they have, and then Action PC Community. I've downloaded everything they have. Out of the Park Baseball Forum, Operation Sports. Over the years, I've just whenever I saw a picture, I would just download it. So I've got a lot in my library that I've just compiled from different sources, probably in the last 15, 20 years. Um, anyway, Lynn Swan. So you can see the format's a little bit different for football. They're a little bit different, wider to make them fit the format of the game. Um, ballparks. Yeah, let's look at ballparks. I was just in ballparks trying to set some of these up. You guys might recognize these from DMB, little diamond mine stuff, but I just have them all over like this. So, and I need to organize these better and then make sure I just keep the ones I like. But some of these were like, here's a Forbes Field from either MLB The Show or Out of the Park Baseball. A lot of these I got on Operation Sports on the forums or Out of the Park Baseball forums where they would, take screenshots and post them for people. Beatles, yeah, here's what I'd say, Beatles. Let me have everything you got just to make sure I'm not missing something. That's what I would do, right? Like with all this. I want to make sure I'm not missing a good one. But I was just in here today looking at the polo grounds. I was just kind of interested to see what I had for that. And I've got these other up here that have M in front of them. I don't know where I got these, why they have an M in front of them. But they came from some game that somebody made available. I'm trying to think, like they're kind of in their own style. So like here's one for Wrigley Field Day, right? And that came out of some game. Can't remember which one. The other one, so I went to Polo Grounds here, and I've got another ones that have DB in front of them that's to designate dead ball. I got those from somewhere too. So I found a couple that I wanted to use for Polo Grounds, and then I could go into the game and assign them to the teams and then get the layouts right. And they are, let's see here, got so many. I think it's Polo Grounds right here. This is one I like. So I've got this one. I kind of like the layout of it and everything. So I'm using this one for one of mine. And then the other one I've got, this never goes back to the P's, but is Polo Grounds 2. I've got this one. Kind of like that one. And then there was a few other ones we had that had like some different angles on them. So that's one thing I need to do too, is spend some time when I'm not creating, stuff. Here's another one for Polo Grounds, kind of cool. More of a top-down view, right, of the field. So I got all these from all over the place. And like you, Arnold, even though I have a bunch, I'm still looking for old time stuff. So I'll go in and Google like a park or image and see what might be available out there. Some of the real pictures, um, there's some good ones already known. Ebbets Field, I've got several different versions of that in different formats that are like paintings or like a reproduction. This is one right here. But sometimes it's tough, right? If you don't have that, can't get that right field line to match up, it's not really perfect for the game. So yeah, I'm always looking for the more the merrier. But I definitely need to spend time and go through this to like organize them, right? Get them named better, make them easier to find. Um, but I'm trying to do that with this. When I set up these teams, for example, let's say I go to, let's pick like an old Pittsburgh team, right? Like from the 30s. I don't know if we have any Pittsburgh fans on here or not. Maybe we do. Pick this 30s team. So now I'm modifying this team. I'm looking at, okay, I got them in Forbes. Um, so what options do I have for Forbes Field? So a lot of times I'll go into ballparks here and then just make sure that the data is right. Find Forbes, right? So I can see, yep, I'm using that because it's in the right areas. And then you can see here, I've gone through and selected, yeah, I want to use this one for day, this one for, night or whatever, and then an alternate one. So I've already spent some time. So if I'm playing, I know I can switch between these three options. These are the ones I kind of like so far. But again, it takes time. Like if you're going to window dress the game, yeah, it takes time to do it. But to me, it's worth it to get that done. So when I go to my ballparks, you can make sure they're assigned, and then you can go here and spend time doing your layouts. I like to drag this box bigger and make it look a little more similar. Like if I was playing 3/4 screen, I would grab it. Now let's see what we got for Forbes. Got a bunch for Forbes. I know Beatles probably has all these too, but some of these aren't the best resolution, and you can see I haven't set the markers on some of these. This one's not bad. I went with this one. You can see I've set the markers to play on this one. I kind of like this one. There's the painted version. Yeah, it's Zen exercise for sure, man. But this one's not bad, right? Like this is more of a top-down layout. I don't know what game this came from, but it's just a matter of, hey, am I going to set the center field, get the center field markers and get those set up how I like. But I'll find at least three that I like, set them up so that I have those options when I play the teams for my file. So again, tedious, but well worth it. Here's one that's a real photo. This isn't bad at all. Well, you can tell back then why the infield error rates might have been a little higher. The fields were not groomed like they do major league ballparks nowadays. Got one at night here, a 60s. This came from I don't know what game system that came from. Another Forbes. Here's a Forbes from the 30s. So got quite a few options on some of these. This is a tough one. People always ask for finding a good picture for Metropolitan Stadium. Oh, Arnold's a Steeler fan for life. Yeah, look at these Metropolitan Stadium. It's really, but you look at them and it's not everybody's cup of tea, right? Everybody's looking for that perfect Metropolitan Stadium photo. I don't know if it exists yet, but I've got a few here. That one's not too bad. Yeah, that infield. Well, Arnold, let's check this out then. Let's fire up something here. And I did a preview on my last video of kind of some of these other files I have. Let's, if you're a Steeler fan, still not done with this file. I think I've got 60 some teams. You can tell it's probably August the last time I worked on this. But this is my 5 year. This is what I've done so far for the football, or as Beatles calls it, F ball. So guaranteed this team's there, right? 75 to 79 team. And again, these are all based on their best 2 consecutive years in there. Got the skill players here. Go by running back. Old Franco and Rocky Blyer. These I've created the pictures for and got in there. I think I've got the Cowboys and probably got about maybe 8 of the teams fully done. There's just, when you got 50 players on a team, it's like, forget it. It's going to be forever to get these done. But yeah, definitely a good team here. Look at the O line, the defensive line, linebackers, all good stuff. Big fan of those Steelers. And I got more teams planned, right? So let's throw this thing. I don't have an error going on with this league right now, so let's throw an exhibition game together. This is a fun little league to do because let's pick a couple of these. Let's pick Pittsburgh at home. Oh, we got to throw this team at them. Where's the yeah Oakland 73 to 77, right? Keep home field advantage on for them. Move it to October, a little bit colder. See what happens. Run an auto sim on this. And what happens? I know Arnold's pulling forward. Oh, we got a 17 to 14 Pittsburgh victory. So I'll do this once in a while when I'm after I build teams. I'll start doing some auto plays just to check stuff and check it out and see how it runs. But yeah, looks like Pittsburgh wins. What we got here? Bradshaw, no 100-yard rushers. Team stats. Yeah, you gotta love the action games. There's just so much stuff available. Player stats. You can see the lineups. Highlights not available. Who knows why? Scoring. Hey, had a defensive fumble recovery for a touchdown. So, yeah, this is another thing when I get time, when I get bored with baseball, because baseball is my big thing, right? I'll run back over here and start cranking more teams out. I haven't even done a Tom Brady New England team, and I've done all these teams, but I've done some older New England teams like this 84 to 88 Patriot team, but I have not done any Brady team. So I have to get to that. Um, yeah, cool. What else you guys got going on out there? We got a Steeler fan for life. Oh, Crosley Field. Yeah. Oh my God, on Crosley Field. Let me see here. All right, Beatles. I'm going to run through. You can see all these Crosleys I've got here. I've got some animated ones. Got a lot of Crosley. This is a cool one right here. I don't know what that looks like expanded up, but I really like that one. It's kind of like an old painting version of it. I've got some of these top downs with Crosley. Um, I've got this little litho that I wish was blown up, but it's not. Got some black and white stuff. We got this old view back here. Sometimes I don't like them because the resolution is not good. This is one that I've used before in games. It's been cleaned up a little bit down here, but that's not a bad one. What else I got on Crosley? Not as much as I thought. I might have got rid of some of the ones that I would never use. Here's Crosley in 1920s version. Yeah, always fun stuff. So you could spend a whole day, like Beetle says, like Zen, just doing your layouts, or saying, "Hey, let me go spend a day and hunt down parks. What about photograph packs? What about assigning stuff in the game to kind of window dress it up? I mean, it's nonstop, nonstop. Now, here's what let me throw this one out here. I just picked this game up. Haven't done a thing with it yet. The first time I think I've even opened it up right here, replay baseball. So I decided, hey, I'm gonna get outside of my comfort zone and explore some of these other games. Um, let's see, I'll report back, right? Game set up. I still don't know what I'm doing. No clue, but I will get in here and dedicate some time and kind of figure it out because I know some people. Well, here's the 24th season. I think this is what I can use with my trial here. Ah, here we go. Yeah, I'm just so used to action. It's like, oh, now I got to figure out how to navigate this. What's going on? Where's my teams? What happens when I click on the team? Mm, I got statistics. Let's look at roster. What do we got here if I click on a player? Now I've got to look at this and think, what does this mean to me? Hmm, what does all of this mean to me other than just the basic line? So that's where with action, I'm looking at real numbers that make sense to me versus like chart outcome numbers. So that's something to get used to. So I'm going to have to really get out of my comfort zone if I'm going to explore this deeper because, I've watched people play it online. It looks pretty cool. And I'm like, yeah, let me try another game here to expand my horizons. Yeah, I agree with you, Beal. Action and OTP are just so cool because the gameplay. I mean, but if you're a card and dice person or whatever, I mean, then this is up your alley. And I used to be, and then progressed onto the PC games, like even with the Commodore 64. I'm like, man, to have everything right here on my screens is awesome. But this game has looked pretty cool to me. And this game has a lot of options too in here as far as lineups. Comerica Park. So it looks like they're taking in ballpark factors. So the ballparks matter. Well, that's always cool. We've got bunt ratings, speed, 2K. I have no idea what any of this means. I don't know what's good or bad, so that'd take me a while. I'm gonna have to get used to that. I can work on a 1 to 10 scale. I know 10's really good, one's not. So this would be take a while to learn that. But I am going to give this a try. I'm committed to doing that. It's a free demo, right? So hey, take advantage of some of the free demos. The other thing Al got me into is the boxing. So where's my little gloves here? I had this game and I don't know where the CD-ROM went. I can't find it on an old drive or something. I had a version probably 10 or more years ago, right? So I grabbed Title Bout. It was $12.99 or something, and I'm like, yeah, let me get it. This is pretty cool. I used to have fun with this back in the day, and I've only done one thing. I just set up a quick fight and had Milton McCrory and Tommy Hearns fight. That was fun, but look at the look at the amount of people that they have in this thing. It's crazy. All the boxers. Okay, heavyweight division. So anyway, I'll be in here messing around. I can't even remember how I set up the fight. I was going through here. Oh, it was right over here. Start fight. You can even do head to head. I don't think that was in the version I had back then. But you go into select fighters, there's tons of them. Wow, select fighter one. Oh yeah, look at all this. All divisions. Probably have to find a quick way to navigate out of that, but around here. But so this is another game that I'm going to enjoy for sure. So that's some of the stuff I can see. I've got DMB ready to roll here again. Has its own different interface. Another game that I haven't talked about, I don't know how many people play it, that's an action game too, that I haven't played in a while, is this one. is the golf one. It is a fun game. Very fun game. Um, and I've got quite a few seasons for it. And I picked up a few more here recently. I think I've loaded them in. Yeah, like this 93. They had like a six pack going on with some of these 80s and 90s seasons that I didn't have. So that's pretty cool. 73 is always fun. I remember being a kid and watching this. And you've got the ratings here. And I think the Action PC community, whoever runs that's got some good videos of them with some gameplay on there. But another fun game for sure. So much to be able to do with setting up tournaments and playing casual rounds and all that good stuff. So yeah, fire some baseball back up. I'm going to do a quick play and then kind of head out and take care of some other stuff for the day that I've got to work on. But this was, I appreciate people showing up to this because I was like, hey, I got to forget this live stream going. I got to figure it out because this Prism Studio, it seems really nice. I like it. It's easy for me to use, but I'm like, can I get it live? Wasn't that hard? So let's take a look. Let me go back to my season here that I was running on the AL file. We have that playoff tree that I set up. And I'm like, wow, I had no idea that the playoffs work that easy here. And it's been working great. So we played that one Detroit game down here. So now we can go, let's go play game two of that. Detroit's up 1-2, and let's just set them computer and see what happens here. Instant result should be. There we go. Oh, we've got Boston's even that series up a little bit. They were 2 hit in the first one. See the recap here. Yastrzemski got a home run. A little more offense in this one. Nice. What do we get here? Our game MVP, Mike Torres. Who would have thought that guy, Mike Torres? Let's go look at Mike Torres here. He got the win in Tiger Stadium, a hitter's ballpark. Not the greatest numbers. I don't know. But here's what's cool. Now that the playoff tree's been set up, when you go to track it, it's tracking. He's got his real stuff, right? We didn't do like a season replay. That's where these stats would be tracked. But now it's tracking what he did in the playoffs. So that's kind of cool. I had never messed with the playoff tree in years. So pretty happy in how easy it was to set this up and to play games from it. And that's something I've just dug into this last week. So Tor is probably going on game started, right? The computer manager's probably looking at this going, hey, these two have to get off because they're 36 starters. Eckersley's got to be the next game for sure. So let's see. Now the nice thing is once it's created the bracket, I can just go click on that bracket. What else we got here? Set it up to play. Let's do it on computer. Guaranteed. Oh yeah, we've moved back to. I see we're in Fenway now, and Boston wins another one. Oh boy, Eckersley goes the distance and gets the win. And look at Lolich comes back on what? What didn't Lolich pitch game one? Was he come back on 2 days rest? What the heck's going on? I'll have to look at that. I think McLean pitched number two, and we're just coming right back with Lolich. He's going to pitch every other game. Butch Hobson. Look at that. 1 for 4. Must have hit a 3-run homer to get the MVP honor. So Boston representing well. So yeah, this is kind of fun because you can playoff bracket it, and then I can, auto play one, or kind of like hitting the play and then just turn it to computer so I can easily look at the results here. Let's see what's going on. Oh, Rick Wise gets. Oh yeah, we're going Lolich McLean, Lolich McLean. Is it got only two starters? Detroit evens it up, so we got a 2-2 series here. Denny McLean goes the distance. Detroit piled it on here. Look at the home runs. Rodriguez got two. Let's get the recap here. McLean goes the distance. Cash 4 for 5. A lot of offense on this one. This is fun. So now I want to just test this out here. Let's see, playoff bracket. Now let's just auto one. They're 2-2. Auto play that, right? And Boston's up 3-2. Now we're going back to Detroit. Let's see what we got. And Boston takes it. Look at this. Lolich gets his third game in 6. And it looks like Boston takes that series. Interesting. Mike Torres, another, gets 2 wins in that series. Who would have thought? So the cool thing about this now is with that bracket, and yeah, I may be preaching to the choir. You guys may already know this stuff, but to me, I'm like, it's really cool. It's working well, right? Now Boston's auto advanced, so it's really neat. And we can go over here now and take a look at Boston, right? Replay stats should still be 0 because we're technically not in replay. We're in playoffs, but that would be cool if they. I don't know if I could see just playoff stats. It's just telling me real or replay. But for the players, I can go through here and see what they've done in the playoffs right here. So Fisk 238. See Butch Hobson. Look at that. Batting 105, but he had that one home run for his 2 hits and got that 3 home run. It was big in the one game. Same thing with pitchers. We see Tiant. He started twice, 1-1. But look at this guy. Torres gets 2 starts, pitches 20 innings. Gets 2 wins. What the heck? With a 1.8 ERA in the playoffs. So fun, fun, fun. All right. Well, that's all I've got. I'm going to be highlighting. I think I'll probably be doing some dedicated streams coming forward for the football file, and the basketball file, and the hockey one is just really new. I've got 5 teams done for that. So so that way when you look at some of the videos on here, you can say, wow, this was what I want to see, right? Because I know some people are more into one than the other. Baseball's been consuming me. It's probably my main one that I spend the most time on, but I love the other ones too. It's nice to be able to hop from one project to the other when you get bored and all that. So, and I got to stop. I'm like, when do I quit making teams for this 5-year franchise and just let it kind of be a finished product? But people ping me and they're like, hey, could you get, like, I think the ones I'm working on now are, yeah, 51-55 White Sox with a really good mini Minoso. I've got a 1940s Yankee team that I'm debating, like during the war years or right after. The 55-59 Dodgers, which is kind of the missing link between, the great Koufax years and the 51-55 team. I'm looking at possibly some earlier dead ball teams like the 1910-14 Cubs and the 16-20 Giants to kind of add into that range. There's also the Pirates. I have I have a pirate team. Let me pop these in here. I know Beatles likes these pirates. I have 2 teams that run right now. I've got that 01-05 team, and then I've got the 05-09 team. It would be looking at, do I do another version on into the next decade and have like a an '09 to 13 or 1910 to 14 Pirate team. I could also link up the Minnesota Twins that I have a 65 to 69 and I have a 73 to 77. And do I do a 65 to 69 team? Current day, like 2018 to 22 Astros, 2018 to 22 Dodgers, 55 to 59 Red Sox and Tigers. So I've probably got 16 or 17 teams that people have identified as a possibility that I could still build. So do I take my time and build them? Or do I take my time and play games? Or do I take my time and. Oh, here we go. AL, let's see what we got. Beatles, I don't know if you've got the current file. Let me go to AL. I did add. So I've got St. Louis Browns 2024, right? With you got this is a great, interesting team, right? You got Sisler, Jack Tobin, some of these guys that look at the OPS. This guy, Ken Williams, people need to start researching him and give him some love. Look at this. Look at that OPS. Look at this. It's a big bat. So look at this over 300 hitting. Now, if we go over here, not the best ERA for a pitching staff, right? Not the best, but batters, this is a fun team. And I think you're right, Beatles. I have added this team, the 41 to 45 team that during the Warriors. Some people are like, I don't really like those teams, but I'm like, hey, I'm going to build them. You don't want to use them, don't use them, right? Same thing with having a Cardinal team 42 to 46. Some people are like, well, that was the watered down Warriors. I don't know. I may also do a 40 to 45-ish Tiger team too that has Hal Newhouser and some of them. Yeah, Williams is a beast. Beatles, go into and hit the Action PC forums under the baseball topic where I've been posting them and scroll down. You'll see the latest files there. I just sent them off to the Action PC sports community via email today. So I don't know, maybe in the next day or two that they'll get those posted up there. Let me pop my email out of here so you guys don't have to look at that. But yeah, I haven't seen a response yet. Yeah, so I got those Brown teams in here. These are some fun teams here too. Luke Appling, great shortstop. Maybe not the best pitching on there, right? But hey, you've got an 82 and 70 was their average for those 5 years. This was another requested team when we were trying to have some people that are using these for projects saying, man, I wish we had more teams down here in the earlier eras, but there was less teams, right? There's only 8 in each league and trying to find some to fill that in and not be duplicates. This is a team I've just added. Beatles might like this one here. So I've got this Boston team with Tris Speaker. Why is Danny Murtaugh? What is going on there? Oh my gosh. I've I got to get that out of there, right? I got to get I got Danny Murtaugh in Pirates uniform showing up here. I got to fix that. That's not good. But I've got this 12 to 16 Red Sox team, right? So you got Babe Ruth that can pitch on there and all that good stuff. And he was pretty much just a pitcher, right? He wasn't doing double duty. So I went ahead and did a 16 to 20 team, and I went with Ruth's later years. So you've got Ruth that can pitch right here, right? He's going to pitch 19 games, started 16, but now he's playing more of a role, playing the field and batting, right? He's got 20 homers and 394 at bats. So you can see as a batter, you got more options with him out here. Yeah, at least I don't have Danny Murtaugh showing up here. I've got the right, I'm gonna have to go in there and fix that. That'll bug the heck out of me. I put the 12. I had a Washington team here. If any of you are fans of Walter Johnson, I know Beatles has talked about him quite a bit. You know, he's got a later year here where they were in their World Series run, not his best seasons per se. So I wanted to get a team that was above 500 that captured it. So I did a 1912 to 16 version. And look at this line. So you got a much better line. 37 games started at 1.28 ERA. Look at the WHIP, 846. Pretty darn good. We got Walter there. It's funny. I did some of the early. I think the this Washington team was one that I actually did photos for, like an old team trying to colorize and do stuff. So yeah, there's Walter Johnson. Barney. Just trying to highlight some of the different ones here that maybe you wouldn't think of in a greatest team file. Well, Cleveland, early Cleveland team here with Nep LaJoy over here, Elmer Flick. This guy could hit a little bit right here. So I do have, for you dead ball fans out there in Beatles Dead Ball League, I do have some dead ball teams available. This early Boston team with somebody you may recognize, Cy Young here. Pretty cool team. Batters, you got Buck Freeman, got some over 300 hitters. Not a ton of depth, but fun team nonetheless. And then another great team too here. Where's my A's? Philadelphia A's, this team right here. We'll look at some of these. You got really fun team right here. This 1910 to 14 A's for me, having home run Baker there and OPS it. Yeah, Eddie Collins. Pitchers, some good pitchers with Eddie Plank and Coombs and Cy Morgan, Chief Bender. That's a fun A's team, man. And then this is a great A's team. That now, once you get into the 40s, forget it. Or the late 30s, the A's were dead and non-existent until they moved them to Oakland. There's really no good A's team to build once you leave this era until you get to the swinging A's. But this guy right here, this whip and these numbers may not look great, but if you look at and compare Lefty Grove um, to the era he put those numbers up in, these are outstanding numbers. And you look at the averages in the 30s when he's playing, when the average is close to 300, and this guy's holding batters to 238, 60, 70 points under the league average. That's pretty impressive. But this is a powerful team, right? You got some good pitching. Well, Grove's really, look at this. Look how much he stands out compared to the other people on that. And then you look at the batters. Let's go OPS. So it's just a tough team, man. When you got Simmons and Fox and Cochran and some other guys in there like Bing Miller, big year, Doc Kramer down here, batting over 300. Really good. The other one that stands out to me too, I'm going to pop back over to my NL file. Now it's just me. Everybody's tuned in to listen to me just talk gibberish on these files, but I love these files. I mean, I just had a blast making them, but because when I'm making them, I'm taking a step back and learning a lot about each player as I'm doing ratings and all that. It's like a learning immersion experience for me creating them. That's probably why I like creating the files as much as playing the games. Let's take a look at talk about some pitchers here. How about this early Christy Mathewson on this team? Big numbers here. Look at that. I mean, any whip you've got below one walk hits per inning is great. But that same time period, Lefty Grove during the late 20s and 30s, the numbers he put up don't look impressive in other eras, but for the era he came from, he was a stud. This guy too. This guy right here. Look at Carl Hubble in the 30s with this kind of a ERA and whip. Incredible. Yeah, he's holding people to an opposing batting average of 233 when the league average is 300. Really good. King Carl, also known as the meal ticket. It's another thing when I'm building these, I'll go into here to my roster tools, and this is a quick way to the 30s. You can see I've gone in here. By the 30s, they were starting to use uniform numbers. But when I do this, I make sure I go through here as well, and if there's a known number or nickname for them, I want that in there. In the 20s, it's not till the late 20s till you'll start seeing uniform numbers being used. So for those files, if not every season had uniform numbers, I'm not going to put them there. But for the ones that they have it, they'll be here, and there'll always be a what am I even talking about here? Yeah, you guys know what I mean. The nicknames always be a nickname. If there's one available, I'm trying to put it in here, right? And if you ever see one, I had somebody reach out the other day and tell me that um, D. Richards in on that Chicago team was known as BB. And it's not listed anywhere, right? And I'm like, hey, I trust you, man. You went to the games as a kid. BB it is. So if you go over there, uh, Richards has BB under their nickname. So I try to be as detailed as I can doing that. The other thing I would love to do is if you see here where you can put all the game information under notes. Let's see here. Is this where can I edit the notes? I was just finding that. So if I go to Carl Hubble and hit modify player, it'll pull up his full player card. So you can go, you've got 100 characters. So I thought, how cool would it be if that was more characters and then you could just put down like a short bio. You could go to say SABR site where they've got bios and just put a little story or a little blip about the player. From a history perspective, that would be pretty cool. Tell you his specialty, Carl Hubble, his specialty, the screwball. And this is where you can select all that stuff. Clutch rating, I don't know if anybody's read anything on there. That clutch rating is what Action uses to simulate people. They use Pete Vukovich as an example, somebody that led on a lot of base runners, but didn't let a lot of them score, right? So they've got a really lower ERA than you think they should based on how many runners they let on base. So where Action uses the clutch rating is to try to help get towards that goal of a lower ERA. It's basically with runners in scoring position, I believe. I don't know if it's runners on total or runners on in scoring position, but you can see he's a little bit above average. Um, let's see what Vukovic has. Let me go over to that file. Now that I'm kind of curious as I'm talking through some of this stuff. Because a lot of these, let me see. I've got that Milwaukee file right here. Boom. Pete Vukovic. Yeah, he's a clutch 7, so he's above average. But there's, of course, I'm averaging 2 seasons, right? And I think there was one on a single season. You may see somebody that like, man, they let a lot of runners on, but they didn't have as big an ERA as you'd have thought. So that clutch rating helps the game do that. The clutch rating, and I always remember in Diamond Mind, they used to use terror, for some of the hitters. And then what's interesting, if you read, there's an article on RetroSheet about whether there really is such a thing as clutch hitting, and do some certain batters bat better, and do some people need to be called a terror? And if you really look at the data, I don't think there's any data to back up um, clutch hitting. Interesting article. If you ever want to read it, it's at RetroSheet. Um, I don't know if I'm the only one. I'm sure Beatles can do that. You can go in there and get lost at RetroSheet looking at seasons and there's some really cool research articles that people have done. And that's the one that's called like In Search of Clutch Hitting or something like that. And it's um, pretty incredible, right? Like who was it? There's people with reputations as clutch hitters that maybe they really weren't. Um, so anyway, but an action that uses that rating to help try to achieve that better ERA. Anybody want to see anything else? Hey, I'm just kind of loving that this thing worked today. I can hear my wife's home, so I'm gonna have to go out there here in a moment. Um, it's been fun, and I could sit here and talk these files in baseball all day long because I put so much time into them. And I just this is a newer team too, Beatles. I don't know if you've got one that has these two teams I added. I added a 20s and a 30s version of the Tigers. Here's one with Heilman, Cobb, Father. Look at the batting on this team. I mean, just sort it by average. Look at this. We got 10 guys that are batting 290. And this is Gehringer had his partial rookie in his second year, so he's got two of his first years factored into this early or this 20s team. Oh, yeah, Beals will want me to do a full game and call it. I'll do that. I will do it. He's the one that kind of pushed me into that calling a game. I'm gonna pick a game and do that. It's on the table to do. But this was a new team I threw in there, and this having like this incorporates that 1915 great Tiger team. Not great throughout that whole decade, but another one where you've got a Bobby Veach and Crawford and Cobb on there. So those have been probably new since you've been playing with these files. Trying to think anything else I put on here. But yeah, but feel free, ping me or let me know if there's any teams that if you look through these and you think like, man, I'd really like to have this 5-year run for a team or whatever. There's something you think would be interested. I'm really thinking about putting a Kiner pirate team on here, even though their record will be below 500, just to represent it. Just like I'm thinking, why not have an O'Doul Chuck Klein Philly team where they had great years, even though the team sucked. So at some point you run out of above 500 teams that really accomplish something, and then you get down to these novelty teams that might be fun to have just to play around with. I mean, the way I look at it is the more options I can give somebody on a file, you figure out what you want to do with it. I mean, create it. But now I've got 120 slots here. So you could always take 120 AL teams if I ever get up to that many, right? 120 NL, and then drag whatever you want into whatever blank league you create and do whatever the heck you want with them. So maybe even if I stop working on this for a while, this will always be a project I'll probably come back to and just keep adding to until I get to a full 120 for each the AL and NL. I just don't know when that'll be. Hmm. So, about time for me to run, but hey, I appreciate everybody being here, and now I know how to do live stream. I can start maybe planning accordingly and figuring out what the topic's going to be and announce that, or we can just freeform it. Maybe I announce that and we just come in and run through some stuff and talk about what's on my mind with some of my projects and some of the research or whatever. So appreciate you all showing up, and I'll see you soon.